Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Max, and today's video, as well as the next few videos that may be coming out, bar one that I've already recorded, you might see me wearing the exact same stuff, and admittedly, I am feeling a little under the weather as of this recording, so I'm probably going to try and record like 3 or 4 videos and have them scheduled for the rest of the week. So if the topics don't seem super timely or interesting, and I don't, catch on to things as quickly, I apologize. But I'm gonna do my best to make sure these at least videos stay constant for you guys on YouTube. I'll see about the short side, but at least for the bigger stuff, I know I can talk about. That being said, today's video, I wanted to go back to the developer update for the mid-chapter patch. Mostly to just kind of talk about what I expect are some very strong, relevant perks should all these changes go through. Once again, since it's on the PTB, this is all subject to change, but I do think that if this is the direction they want to push the game, that maybe this is something we could possibly try to play around. I think the healing change is probably the one they might have to tune some numbers on, because 24 seconds is quite a bit of time. And well, I'll get into that in a little bit. But not only did I just want to go over some small details that I kind of missed on the first developer update and kind of give my opinion on it, but also kind of just a meta prediction and just seeing some possible cool perks, some things that might happen in the game. So really quick, for starters, just kind of clear up some things in the air, because I realize the developer update feels bad in a couple senses that I overlooked, and I do want to address that. And most notably, I think the accessibility changes for the Blood Web and Visual Terror Radius are awesome. Map changes seem great. The balance is going to be a big shakeup, which is fine. At least for me, if something crazy is happening, the game's going to be different and interesting, and I'm a little excited about that. But one thing that I've realized is that the healing changes for the medkits are such that altruistic healing speed goes up, and I feel like that's one detail that BHVR, I feel like, seems to be missing the mark on the fact that medkits are used for healing yourself at a good speed. You never really use a medkit to heal somebody else. The only times I've done it is like endgame gates already open, we're trying to get the last person out, and I'm just going to try and get him topped off as quick as possible so we can both run through the killer, camping the gate, and take 2 hits. Otherwise, the medkit strength does dominantly come from the ability to self-heal at a good speed, and the fact that they got rid of that on the medkits I think is great, but the fact that the difference in medkits is just the altruistic healing speed really makes me feel like they don't understand the full strength of where the medkits are coming from, and that an attempt to balance them in this direction it's not the right way to go about it, but that's my personal opinion. The perk changes I think were a bit overkill, but once again, I think that no one likes playing in the gen kicking 3-gen playstyle. It feels boring for the killer, it feels boring for survivors. So I honestly am happy that the perks that they're choosing to address are being addressed, but Call of Brine feels like the amount of regression is now irrelevant. Like, you don't ever really care about Call of Brine because it's just not going to do enough. I don't think the information you get from it justifies the lack of regression speed you're actually getting. And then lastly, the killer updates with a lot of the add-on reworks. I think Otsdarva was the one that mentioned it really nicely and straightforward, was that it seems as though someone is just looking at the numbers of what add-ons are performing strong or low and just changing numbers to make them better. Because the truth is, like I said, I skipped over this because I don't play these killers. But in listening to other videos and listening to you guys, I realized, like, no one wanted these Billy changes. Like, they don't want to nerf any add-ons on Billy. He's already in a bad spot. The pigs add-on, no one cared about. Oni, no one asked for the Oni absorbing speed one. Same with Freddy's and Pyramid Heads. And clowns to an extent too. Like, I mean, apparently, and Otsdarva said, the problem with clown's eerie pinky finger add-on was that you can camp really effectively with it, and I never even thought about that. That's pretty brutal. So either way, I feel like the add-on changes are, I mean, sure, some are buffs. The Billy one's a nerf, but I feel like the data that they're working with to make these changes just don't seem like they were extremely conscientious of what changes would happen from it. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about it. I know from the last video I uploaded on Friday, people were pretty vocal, either excited about the change or at least were willing to have discussion on why they thought these changes were pretty bad. And it opened my eyes to seeing some glaring problems for the way that I think the game is being addressed and balanced, and something to note for the future. That being said, to go into perks that will be better or that I expect to see more going into the new update, I'm going to kind of do like survivor perks and killer perks, just kind of split those up. So the big thing for survivor that's really being addressed here is that healing speeds now go to 24 seconds across the board. It doesn't matter if it's self-healing, if it's altruistic healing, 24 seconds is the time that you're looking at, which is a long time. I genuinely feel as though we might enter a meta where anti-healing becomes a legitimate problem, to the extent that it becomes very strong, and the natural game delay comes from if people choose to heal, and if they don't, you might just end up having some gen rushing situations. So for survivor, dead hard is, I think, as fun of a perk that it is, people are going to opt to use other exhaustion perks more because they're just always active. They functionally can buy you some more time in the middle of a chase, so things like life and sprint burst, I think those two are going to be much more dominant than dead hard. Maybe in time people, you know, will start playing altruistic and dead hard comes back. Perks that instantly adjust health states without the full necessity for healing. Something like adrenaline I think is even more valuable now, and that perk in my opinion was already pretty strong. So I expect to see more adrenaline, as well as perks that speed up percentage based by healing, like Will Make It and Botany Knowledge. I think Will Make It had a big enough difference where it was still a strong perk, but Botany Knowledge, I think it's what, 50% increase, and Will Make It's 100% for a duration after unhooking. The amount of time that those perks are saving is now going up just because the actual event that you're working on, healing, that overall time went up. So I think We'll Make It's going to be seen more. Maybe Botany Knowledge. I'm willing to bet We'll Make It. If people are going to be running Dead Hard, you'll probably see Dead Hard, Deliverance, We'll Make It. Maybe like We're Gonna Live Forever or something. Just some ways to really capitalize on the fact that you want to be altruistic, unhooking your teammate, and now you can get some perks set up with it. Additionally, probably the biggest ones that I am genuinely thinking are going to become meta, if not very, very strong, are inner healing, inner strength, where you cleanse a totem and then you can hide in a locker for 8 seconds to heal. Yes, it's gonna take a little bit more time than just a 24-second altruistic heal, but the fact that you can pocket an 8-second heal is now going to be more valuable than it was in the past. And I do think that genuinely does have quite a bit of value. If I'm looking in the corner, sorry, I'm scrolling through all the perks just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Reactive healing and like solidarity, where you kind of heal back from the other people. As much as I've seen people talking about it, I think the thing is, if you bring Sloppy Butcher as a killer or anything that makes somebody mangled, where you're going to be losing that progress unless you can stick the heal out, those aren't going to get as much value. And I don't know if those are going to be the big breakpoints, but absolutely I think inner strength / inner healing, I'm forgetting the name of it right now, I think that perk is going to be very good in combination with Overzealous, because that perk is now getting buffed and synergizes directly with you clearing out totems. I genuinely think those are going to be good perks. And one that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about, but I felt is a personal pocket pick. Well, actually, really quick, Autodidact. I unironically think Autodidact is going to be a good perk. It's already going to take so long for the first heal. You could build up your stacks for it faster, and the fact that at maximum stacks you're looking at a 50% heal from a single skill check, and that, you know, that time is basically now saved from an 8-second difference to a 12-second difference, which is actually pretty big, and stacks will be easier to get. So I unironically think autodidact will be better. I don't know if it's going to be meta, but definitely has a stronger spot in the current meta. And the last one that I wanted to bring up was oh my gosh, I apologize. I believe it's Renewal is Steve's perk. Where after you're unhooked, you're just broken for 20 seconds and then you auto heal after being unhooked. I don't know why a lot of people haven't talked about it, and I just found it interesting, the fact that if you bring the perk Renewal, you heal yourself faster coming off of a hook than to be healed by a teammate when you're unhooked. Unless they're obviously running, will make it and things like that. I just thought that that interaction in terms of timing feels very weird. And that's kind of why I feel like the 24 seconds of healing across the board is a bit crazy. But on self-healing, sure. I think self-healing is usually the bigger outlier in terms of a problem. And that boils down to like a time efficiency thing. If it takes 2 survivors to heal 1 health state, a lot of the time is going down the drain, but the single heal's a bigger issue. But the fact that Renewal only takes 20 seconds, if only one person came to unhook you and they don't have, you know, the god perks they're bringing, it makes me wonder if maybe everyone just brings Renewal and kind of forgoes the healing speed stuff. And, you know, now you're just kind of not really playing selfish, but you bring like Sprint Burst / Life, you'd bring Renewal, Inner Healing, and Overzealous. And now totems get shredded through the game. You have an 8-second pocket heal on the back, and whenever you get hooked, you just immediately go for time efficiency back onto a generator. I just think that's possibly an interesting point of gameplay for survivors. Let me know what you guys think about the survivor perks. Are there any that maybe I slept on that you think will now see a bigger resurgence in the game? I'd be curious to hear about it. Killer perks. I genuinely think that the gen kicking synergy with Call of Brine is dead, which means nowhere to hide, and Overcharge, even though Overcharge also got hit, that entire playstyle is going to go away. Pain Resonance is not going to be doing enough worth a perk slot if you can only get 4 triggers on it. So how do we slow the game down as killer? Corrupt Intervention, I think, is still a very strong perk. I've personally used it on setup killers, as well as the weaker ones, just because I feel like I need the time to kind of get situated to find that first chase and get the first down. Maybe I'm just bad, and that's why I feel like it's good, but Corrupt Intervention, I think, has a lot of potential and merit. Deadlock, I think, is a pretty natural game delay where when a gen gets done, you know, the next one's blocked for 30 seconds, or the one with most progress. So natural game delay, you don't really have to change a play style. You can just really commit to chasing people down. And then if you really want to buy in, slow down the game in that way, No Way Out could extend the game by an entire minute, depending on the elo that you are at. Merciless Storm, I feel like, falls off at higher levels of play. I think once you're more familiar with hitting skill checks and stuff, like, I haven't missed a Merciless Storm the last 10 games I've seen it. With my friends who are newer in the game, the Merciless Storm is stopping generators like crazy. So it depends. I think that might be kind of like the pocket meta type perk that you'll be seeing. But the biggest thing is going to be Sloppy Butcher. The fact that Sloppy Butcher can now really exacerbate the amount of time that it takes to heal somebody if you get them mangled. A lot of killers have add-ons that can mangle. Scott Junn talked about this. So I feel like that genuinely is a big point of discussion, that it may take a while to heal through these add-ons and what people are bringing. Jolt is just the good old-fashioned fair slowdown perk that people will be using. And then if you choose to do something like Sloppy Butcher, Coulrophobia, Leverage, Unnerving Presence, I think, is the bigger one that like amps your terror radius to make, if you just want to make healing a nightmare, right, and you really want to make survivors not heal by doing that, I think that there is also potential for, rather than quadruple stacking perks related to making healing a pain in the butt, that if you were to get rid of one of those perks and you replace it with something like Tinkerer, possibly even Trail of Torment. I've genuinely had a decent amount of success going undetectable, playing the Skull Merchant on the PTB and on the live server, trying to get that sneaky first hit on somebody, and staying injured against killers that are harder to detect is really risky, because especially if you end up going undetectable, or particularly with like stealth killers, that first hit can happen really easily and there's not much counterplay to that first hit. But then you get into a full chase and then they feel pretty balanced in terms of trying to secure the down. And now when you think about it, if you make a build where healing takes a long time, not to mention, like, with none of those add-ons, self-care now takes 68 seconds. You can't self-heal in Circle of Healing. So I swear if I'm seeing self-cares in my games, I think you're actually just griefing. But I do genuinely think that you could combine it with some type of undetectable or an oblivious to really try and make that first hit count. And if you make it so that they can't heal in a time-efficient manner, they may choose to not heal. And now you're just in a situation where you just got to sneak up and get that first hit, and it immediately converts to a down. It could be different. Like I said, there's some perks that make survivors heal efficiently. There's some where survivors just, they might end up cranking out generators, and then you may resort to like good old-fashioned ruin, deadlock, you know, things that will slow the game down in other ways. But I think that killers still have the route for slowing down the game via generators, via anti-healing, and survivors have new interesting ways to combat the healing change, as well as Dead Hard kind of coming out of the meta. I'm gonna wrap this video up. I thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it all the way through, please let me know what you think about any of the perk changes or possible different opinion regarding the mid-chapter patch. I'd love to hear about it. I'll be messaging back and forth about it with you guys in the comments. And yeah, if you see more videos where I'm wearing this, just know I'm recording it on the same day before I'm feeling sick. So we'll see how many I can do. Hopefully I can get this week's videos knocked out more or less. But take care, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your week. Peace.